Good early afternoon. It's Joyful Christian Hermit. I have lots of work to do, but I'm slow morning and needed to recover, and I'm going to have to go back later. In about 2 hours, in fact, I'm going to have to leave again, but I'm going to do a few things before then. But one thing I want to do is a little fall walk around. So see what's going on here. And I'm going to plant this little Pinus parviflora. It's an upright miniature right back there, and take up this Twombly's. Lovey, stay out, that's just an icky bag. And put that in the back, or maybe down there by the street, and take the taller one and put it in back, because it can take full sun. That one down, this little red one down. Here's, see, all the blooms are off, except that rose is going, and it's not much of a scent at all, but it's such a pretty orange. My neighbor has voted that it needs to stay, so we'll keep it. I like her opinions, and a lot of what we do in life is for the enjoyment of us. Oh, mercy, Lovey just stepped on my bad toenail. I'm sorry for screaming. Oh my goodness. Now you guys stop. Look at them roughhousing immediately. I thought you wanted to do a little walkabout. Did you want to do a little walkabout, or are you going to fuss around and then have Lovey? Somehow his big 56 pounds always finds itself on my left big toe. So anyway, the cannas are spent, but I like them in this phase even, but I do need to cut them down and dig them out before it gets too cold, before the ground freezes. But I've got about a week here left. We're blessed with some sun, and we're going to have some rain one morning and one afternoon. That'll be good to help loosen the soil, get everything watered. But those I'll dig out and put in a trash bag and keep in the garage, overwinter them. And I have one in back to dig out. And then next year, that one's not too overdone. I might let it stay as is. I'd already divided it into 2 clumps, of which this one didn't do as well. Okay, stop it, you guys. Stop it right now. I can't have that. It's too dangerous for me. Stop. No, stop. No fussing. Well, they're playing, but it's fussing to me. And it's a pain to me. It's a risk of falling and a risk. Okay, my neighbor asked me, what's wrong with this tree? Where are the lambs? I said, well, it doesn't have any. This is that ancient sugar maple. It comes from like Paleolithic times, the seed does. And it has just a few leaves on top, but they're huge leaves. And when we have a colder fall, we've had a lovely warm fall here, unusual. The nice weather has stayed this long. And so the leaves didn't get as brilliant colored as they would in a colder autumn. But they're big. It's just like a sugar maple, except now you see those 2 little stubs there. Those were errant. Those weren't supposed to come out, so I cut them back. And when you cut back something that's not supposed to be, you leave a good inch or an inch and a quarter or something on it. If you cut it too far back, even when you're pruning, you can do damage then to the main trunk of some tree or other branches. So, and this I'm trying to train more vertical, but my rope around the bottom level broke, so I'll trim off that branch. I'll do some pruning, but I'm going to do that toward the end of next week when it's cooler. Better to do your pruning before it's freezing, before it's winter time, obviously, but not when it's still warm and they're still trying to, feel like they're growing. Especially with a day like today, it's going to be 68, and they are getting fooled a little bit. In the Midwest, we would call this Indian summer. So this is the Emperor one that I think I might move to the back, because this can get 15 feet tall. But I'm going to leave it very narrow, keep it very narrow. That little branch will come off at the bottom. Trim it out how I want. I'm going to take out some of these strawberries that are taking over out here as much fun as they were last summer and early spring to eat the fruit, come out here on the way to the mailbox and get some fruit. But they'll grow back. I'm gonna leave a couple little bunches, and I'll still have that fun. And the dogs liked it too. They thought it was great fun coming out picking strawberries. So still have some blooms going on. I love the color of this pincushion plant. I love the bright blue violet. It's just rich looking, practically like indigo or something. I don't know. Well, oh goodness, they're sounding ferocious. Stop now. We're walking. We're walking. Okay, and I even like, now here's a couple little blooms left, and we'll find some down in here. These echinaceas aren't they interesting? I'm going to leave them like this for the winter. There's an orange one tucked down in there. You can see it down in there. There, get down there. A little more sheltered from the frost. We've been having frost. Look at all these seedlings that have popped up. And I'm going to let those go, and in the spring, if I'm here, I'll come out and do it. If I'm not, I'll come back to do it. You know, if I get moved to a townhome. I have lots of pots in the garage, and I'm going to pot these and set them out. Maybe with a little donation jar, or just put them out and say free, and let people beautify. That's probably the best thing to do, just free. At this point, you know, of course, I can always use money, even for fertilizer and stuff too. But I'm doing okay. I'm making it. I'm making it. I haven't had to dip in for, I think, 2 months into what's dwindling of what's left of my mom and dad's money. This is beautiful. I still have to find little spots for some of these things. Oh, these won't be hard to find, these little conifers. But the roses, see, if I'm going to go to her townhome, I was going to plant them there, but I'll just plant them here, and I can transplant later. So I have those to get in the ground. These are just petunias that have grown up from last year's seeds that fell off. And same in there. And I already took out some. So, and I'll stick these in the ground too. I let them get a little larger in these little pots, these little sedums. So we'll get, that needs to get in the ground. So we'll get stuff done. This is growing back in. So these were some that, you know, that Grandma, Pat had, see, this is coming back. This certainly is. This is the monk's hood. And they are toxic to dogs, so I'll have to put it someplace where, the dogs, I have them on a leash. See how that is, these coleuses are still doing. I should have shown you this a week ago. It was gorgeous in the colors, but it's beautiful now. I think this represents me. Half dead, or a little more looking, half dead looking, but you know, we live forever. So that's why the tree is still alive. But, and my feather, threadleaf feather Japanese maple back there, see it sticking behind the Virgin Mary's head. That has to be moved. And also that hemlock needs to be moved. Because I'm going to move it over there under shade, or in the back under some shade, because they are on the side. They cannot, it was getting too much water there. But the other things need the water. So that's what's going to happen with those. I have to move them. The ginkgo is turning colors. And somehow I need to get some of this other stuff. I'm going to take out this, I forget what it's called. I always forget. I always go blank on this. It's an annual, but it keeps coming up every year. This white thing. I'm taking it out. It's taken over. And I think it's sapping too much nutrients from this ginkgo. All summer, even though it was getting plenty of water, it was looking dry to me. So it needs, I'm going to give something a little, excuse me for moving my phone around, but the leashes are all tangled behind me. Just give them I have this potent fertilizer that I mixed back in the Midwest, and I gave much of it away on the island because I ran out of space to cart it here. but I still have quite a bit, and a little bit goes far. It's potent stuff that I mixed like 3 different combos together of I'm trying to think of the base name of it, but it's a, I think it starts with an O, but it's a very strong and good, wonderful, and costly fertilizer, but it's lasted me for years with my different gardens because it doesn't take much. And so I mixed it in a big trash can. I had a trash can load of it. I put 3 100 bags together and mixed it all up for a good concoction to get everything these would need. And I think so for some of these, I'm going to give them like a tablespoon around the roots. And then in the spring, they'll have that to give them an extra boost. And then in the spring, everything needs to be, I'll take out the clematis. The whole thing will be gone down to leave about 8 or 10 or 12 inches down at the base. So lots of pruning going to be going on this by the end of next week. And I might leave the marigolds over there and see if they grow. They didn't grow on this side, so I need to amend the soil over there. I had losses. I'm going to move that lone little conifer out there because it's marginal whether it's going to make it. It's still sort of yellowish looking seed, and it shouldn't be. But I've been, and I don't know what's with my sedums out there, but I think some of them needed more shade or more water than that gets. So I have to transplant some of that. I think I might put that little ball right down in here to see from the front window because I'm hoping in November, well this is November, happy first Saturday, Virgin Mary. I have my blue on, you can see me in the window. I got all blue on for the Virgin Mary, even blue and white socks. The lavender, I guess is okay there. I need something there to offset. I'm not sure what, maybe, but it's getting a little huge. So I may find something else to go there, or a smaller specimen of lavender, but I like the idea of it there because of the vent window inside the house. That's way down low, so you're inside and you're mainly looking out the large window, but I wanted air, so I put a vent window in down there. It just slides over, and I'll probably take the screen out. Well, maybe not, since there might be bugs around the plants or the soil, but see, then I wanted scent. I wanted to be able to smell inside. I thought that would be a nice touch. And I tried a rose there. I tried Solus Marner, but not nearly enough sun. So Solus immediately, within a week, went back to the back, where Solus Marner is doing well. Needs, everything needs help because I was so focused. Oh, here, it's finished. I'm going to do some little caulking, little places of caulking. The whole thing is finished, even the little partial, the ones I had to cut each piece to fit, and time consuming more than I ever imagined. And I've scrubbed some of the icky off to make it look, clean it up, where any overages of the white mortar that got on the fronts in. So, but I have some caulk that I'll put in a few places, mostly up underneath the overhang there. That overhang originally was right down on top of a window that was actually smaller than the windows that's there. I increased the size of the window. Well, it even looks bigger because the window before had bars in it. Had a line up the center for a slider part way and then a line across the bottom. So I added the lower window for the venting and then put the upper window just as a big, huge picture window to be able. Am I showing you it? I guess I wasn't. I'm showing you the stone anyway. So now you have more open space to look. And also with that window up there, which is the only window I did not change, because I was going to have to hire it done. They would have to bring like a forklift or something. It's going to be very costly, and it was in good condition. So I decided not to change out that window. And it still it has like a mirror finish. You had somebody come along and put film on all the windows. So that room looks a little yellowish inside, but it's a large enough room. And I painted it dove white dove. And so it doesn't show as badly as the smaller room would. So it's okay. It's working out. The anemones are, oh, here's some still blooms on this one that's more sheltered. The white ones were later blooming than the pink ones. I have no idea why. Other than the pinks are probably more a hybrid than the white. I have to dig him, that Scolodipitus, rare Japanese umbrella pine, died. The rest of it did. I thought part of it was going to make it, but it didn't. So that will come out, and I'm going to move another tree over in there. Or there's one along the side back here that likes shade and has white leaves on it that I'll probably put there. It would be nice to have a conifer in there, but I'll have to wait and see next spring what they have for shade of conifers. There'll be something, but it'll have to be something that'll stay small. And I would like something, because this gets a dark green, I'd like something chartreuse back in there. Or because the Scolodipitus was an emerald green, but it was a bright emerald. And it was shiny, spiky leaves. It was so unusual. So that contrasted. I like contrast. You want to have something that each area will have things that will speak and show out. That's about gone, but little bits of red. A week ago, it was all the colors were so bright and pretty, most of them. This I'm going to do a little pruning on. I like that there. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, I'm going to cut that one spike down right there a little bit. And I've got space here. That was just a perennial that landed over here from the air bringing it. And I'm going to take that out or move it away, and then I think I'm going to put the Japanese Pinus, not Pinus, but Japanese maple, Acer palmatum, except this one was a dissectum, that little feather leaf, the thinnest leaf, the thread leaf is going to go here. And I have another one, the British, English, what's it called? English rose or something. It's another one. It's going to go in here. That's a hemlock there, but it's not done well at all. So I think I need a lot of soil amendment back up in here too. I just do this, had loads of sand on it when I moved here. I dug out, I don't know how many wheelbarrowfuls of sand, probably 30 out of just this area here, and have dumped dirt in, and need to do something with the grass. This is where the billbugs are, so I'll spray it, but I'm going to wait until early spring and put down the stuff I'm supposed to, it's a grub killer that I'll put down plus spray again in the spring, but I'll spray it once this fall because I have lots of the spray. Won't hurt it. It might help a little bit, but and I need soil amendment along the front. Here's a nice little clump of lavender. It's just going to take there, but it might be better in the other. But there is a certain lavender, I think I have it in back somewhere, that I like, that maybe I should transplant and put the larger lavender like out there in the corner. Amend the soil, it needs amending, and put it out there so that people looking by can smell it. And along here, I'll have to figure out about these. I had plenty of sedums out here. This one's doing okay. Oh, look at, well, I'll show you these up close. I think they're so beautiful. Right there. Yeah, one of them was Joan d'Arc. I think it was this one here because of the reddish, her blood. She was martyred, essentially. Burned at the stake for fire. So isn't that beautiful? That was the one that was pricey, and I asked, is it worth it? Oh, goodness. See, this somehow got pulled out. And it's, the soil is okay, but somehow it keeps growing up and out of the ground. And it looks like it just got popped up or a dog nosed it out. Mine didn't because I would have seen that. But
a walking dog along, coming with its owner. Or maybe somebody just saw it and thought, "Oh, what's that?" and bent down to look at it, and it didn't take much to just pop it over because it kept growing up out of the ground. And it was a lot larger, but it's, since it keeps coming up, it keeps, so this, there, got it back down in. This area needs more water. Well, I think I might have to figure out a hose, a drip line maybe, or I'm not sure what. That might be a good idea. Some of these sedums can handle it, obviously, but I think I need better soil because this one would have spread. See that little thing there? It was bigger, but it kept having bits of it come off. This one's growing up out of the ground, so I'll dig these back down and I'll put some leaves over for winter. But it's getting new growth, isn't it? Interesting how these grow. And there's one that had crumbled off. So I tried to, here's one that's crumbled off right now. I try to get them back in the ground. I don't know why they keep coming up out of the earth. It's just their growth pattern, I suppose. And this one is very fascinating, but the frost did that to it. So it's closed up for winter. I'll see, I hope it comes back in the spring. But it had, well, there's one on the side, you can sort of see very delicate little petals. But they're all look like they're frozen over from the frost. And this was a pretty one, but this is doing well. This obviously likes. And there's some in back I'll transplant out here. Here's one that was doing very well. It was a green with little touches of pink in it. Nothing quite like that one that was like luminous with color. And there's one down in here that came up just by, let me find it. I let it stay down in here, protected. It was doing well. Here it is, right there. So I think some of these actually need more shade than what I realized. They were in the sedum area, but they were inside, so, and they have a mixed, I just don't know that much about sedums. I need to educate myself on them. That's why I didn't do so well with the locations. We didn't look around here. Come on, puppies, let's look over here. Look over here and see what, this little thing, there's a yellow counterpart to it over on the side over there. You can't see it, but it's huge. But this one hasn't grown. So I don't know why it's doing that. This is considered like a little thistle plant. Yeah, but look at that little bloom. Isn't that pretty? What's that? But this is nice and pretty. These little puppies, oh, I got my phone keeping going around. Yeah, I'm going to also this week, I'm hoping to get bark because this needs to be protected with, I need to put some cardboard down and some mulch. Come on, puppies. That conifer on the other side of this tree is doing well. So let's see, way over there on the ground. And this sea urchin is doing well right here. It's had a long time it didn't do well, and I moved it from the back to the front here. But when I go along, I'll clean out leaves and get some of these, see some of the dead needles are coming out so that they'll show very beautifully for winter. See this stuff, they like to be touched gently. I don't jerk on them or anything, they're little needles, but sort of clean out, just take your fingers and enjoy the feel of life in these beautiful conifers, evergreen conifers. This is so soft, this sea urchin. It's a miniature, and so it doesn't grow fast, but it certainly has improved. It looked ailing for about 2 or 3 or 4 years, I suppose, but it likes it here now. And it's getting adequate water and adequate sun. So it was just a tiny little thing when I got it. So, and it stayed tiny until about 2 years ago. I won't let it get huge. because, you know, when things outgrow their space, that one garden over by the driveway is things have grown in so well that it's little startup perennials have grown in there, so it's getting a little too crowded. So I'll move some of those out and put them elsewhere. Maybe it'll be, well, if I get resituated in my daughter's townhome, or she did decide we would look at this townhome this afternoon with her realtor friend. She's got a good friend who's a real estate agent. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't mix business with friendship like that, because she's met someone who's a very excellent realtor as a client, you know, that would work out, because it's not that they're friends, it's a client that my daughter trains. And she says, oh, she's so sharp. She says, excellent. I said, well, line her up to show us this. Oh, but my friend, you know, she's technically my realtor, and I better not, you know. So, just a tip on real estate. Don't have your realtor be your best friend because it can get tricky. And it might, you know, I'll just have to keep my little mouth shut this afternoon, but I'm not going to help invest. I'd have to take a loan out on the equity in this house to help her get this other townhome that has the wood subfloor. And it's very close to here. So I wouldn't have to leave my little town here that I like, my neighborhood. I could come, you know, it'd be easy for me to get back to do the yard work, which is what I plan to do, just to take care of this. This is it's called a bristlecone pinus. Just sort of just go around and clean the dead needles out. They like it. It's just like us getting a haircut, getting our hair brushed, or getting dead skin removed, or however far we want to go with the analogy. Probably not too far. We've gone far enough with that. The dead skin was going too far, wasn't it? Getting our tan peeled off or something. Come on, puppies. And then this is the lion's head Japanese maple. It's called lion's head. It gets this curly mane. It was just a tiny little thing too. I think maybe this was one of my $10 plants or so. I had lots of $10 ones here. You think, oh, you know, I spent so much. No, lots of these were so tiny. But this has been in the ground for years. So yeah, this thing, I think let's come back, puppies. I'm gonna get this down some. I'll leave it up a little, but I want this side to be taller in the design of this plant. And get a couple of these out here. I just don't want it to overgrow this space. I'm trying to remember the names of these. Viburnum, I think they're called. This white, and I have it in. I did. The blooms are spent. I had red up here, and there's some purple. See these? Salvia. This is it, salvia. I love that color. And I had a reddish purple, and they did die. I had about 8 of them I was going to plant around, and I'd gotten them just before I ended up in the ER and the ICU. And they're the ones that my grandson was supposed to come water. And he watered them, just not much. But they didn't make it. That's okay. Next year there'll be others, maybe that color or some other. I'm amazed at that. Innocence is still going. I'll get this cut all the way down in the spring. But I'm going to come around and deadhead. Get all the deadheads off. I think. Maybe not. This is the first year that this trident weeping maple has had such pretty color. You just can never tell which tree is going to do well. It's just, I have to get more dirt back there and get a trench so that the water will come out get some gravel and a trench. And because there's no trough going down, trough going down the side there. So it just, if we get a big storm, it just rolls off the top. Even there's a leaf guard up there.
but it stands there then, especially in the summer, even with the sprinklers. I've got to do some earthwork back in here with a pitchfork or a little fork, garden fork. And now here's this little guy. This doesn't like full sun, but it doesn't seem to like this spot too much, does it? It just isn't doing well. This little white sparkler. I have another one. I'm going to move this one over there. I'm going to take the white salvia out, or I'll put it right there in the corner between the red Japanese and another lavender. See, that lavender didn't get overgrown in space. It's doing okay on the corner there. See how, and eventually this will have little pavers here to walk through, and then there'll be that lavender to smell as you walk by. And this is doing well. I think it's called, it's got a sort of a silly name, Nancy Blue or something. It's sort of cute, or Dusty Blue, maybe it's Dusty. It's a fir, so it likes a little more shade, can have plenty of water, and it's soft needled, and it's this dusty blue. It's a most unusual color of blue, and these are soft. See, they look like they'd be prickly, but they're just soft. And it's not, I'm going to get a larger stake and sort of let it curl around. It's coming forward, but by spring I'll take the top part back and just let it weave sideways, forward, and back. A multi-directional, but it's staying nice and narrow. If that branch over to the right gets too far, I'll just clip it off a little bit. In the spring is the best time. Here, I'd say before the end, by the end of April. In the Midwest, they say by the end of May. You pinch off the new growth with your fingers. Just pinch it off right back to where the new growth has been for that spring. But I'm not going to do it now. You can do a little on a conifer any time, but not in the heat, not in the direct heat, not the kind of heat we have here in the summer. But you can do little prunings, and it won't hurt the tree too much, but you just don't want to do too much at once. It's like us having too much surgery at once. Our chances of improving our survival can go down if we have too much done. And especially, it's best to have surgeries, if it's an elective surgery, to have it in cool weather. In Finland, they do that. In fact, they don't generally do surgeries in the summer unless it's an emergency, because we heal better in cool. There's greater chance of infection in hot weather surgeries, even if you're inside air conditioning. The humidity and the weather shift, it's the best. So they have it. It's sort of a thing there. That's just a no-no in Finland. And I was told that back in about 1980, maybe? No, 85, I think. I knew a woman from Finland then, and she told me that. So these are, this got huge. I think I showed you one time only the big blooms on this, baby eyes. I consider it baby G's. But see, a little something can go in here that likes shade and doesn't get large. I have a little space down in here to fill in because this is growing this direction. I'm going to tie it up with a better stake and work on it. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to get this branch back here to be the main leader. This one actually might come off, this big middle thing. It might just come off, and then get the 3 branches going like this. See, the Trinity, isn't it? And it's the 3 crosses, Jesus in the center. And see, this looks like a reversion out here. This is not, well, it's the new growth, but it should be not a bright green like that. Even we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I think that might have to be nipped off a little bit. I don't want this to get out of size. It can get higher. I want it to get higher, taller. But I don't want things coming out here because the line's here, but it's okay. I want people to be able to walk along and enjoy. The butterfly bush still has blooms. I'm glad I planted this here. It's not atypical. Butterfly bush isn't. The color of this one isn't atypical. It's very typical. It's okay to have normal. Even though I'm odd, you know, it's good for me to have some normal. And this thing has produced blooms all summer from the start. This, I hope it's doing okay. I only see 3 new cones on it, and all these others are, you know, have died. They're older ones, but otherwise it's looking good. It's, as it is, it's a funky, it's very, very rare. It's, what is it called? It's a unusual one. Abies Vengals. Abies Vengals. So it's a fir. That's why it can take water, but I think it might get a little too much water here. I have it up high. I have it planted up high. Got lots of moss back here, north side of the house. This little thing died, the top of it died. Sanyo no Mato. That's why it's short and squatty. But these are the, you can't even see what they are. Come here, babies. I can stick a little low thing down here. I'm going to remove this. This is just taking over, the horehound is. It's taking over the conifer and this lovely Japanese maple. See these things? These are shoots, wild shoots. These all need to be clipped back down. This is more of a ball shaped, so that will come off this week too when it gets a little cooler. Well, today it could be fine, but I've got to do some caulking today, and I'll get the dead out of this. This wasn't doing well on the back side of the house, but it's doing great here. So, but see, too much of that, it just takes up too much. So, and this rosemary, it has gotten huge. I'm going to take a twine and contain it, you know, get this up and take it around the base and contain it a little bit. I don't mind it there. I like it there. These are the two. See, this has the very light leaf. That one might go back in the meditation garden back there, even though it's not a conifer. This is the British one that's going to go up in that front bed near that, in that spot where it had the flowers, the perennials that just transplanted there on their own through the wind blowing some seeds. This little bit of lavender is not doing that well here. I don't know if it's I think partly the soil and maybe doesn't get as much water. Not sure. It gets water back here, but maybe not as much. I think it's the soil needs some help. This I like here, and it's thriving here, but I've got to get a better stake for it. This is, or get it hammered in better so it can stay upright. This is another fir. This I'm liking. I just will not let this get too far into the window. I like a little of it there, but it's looking very natty right now. I think just because it's end of the season and it got burnt. These things, somehow something happened, and I'm going to get a spray for them. I have a spray. I have this stuff in my garage cabinet that you use on apple trees, mites, or something. It's this powdery look. Let me feel if it's sunburn or powder. No, it's not powder, but I'm going to spray them in the spring and hope to get rid of this. I'll read up on it, but, and this poor little thing, it's, this is Weeping Wonder, and it needs to get ground where there's shade. And it's finding a spot for it that has shade. Around the side, maybe back in the meditation garden, but it can take up a space, but it's got to have to recover. I'm going to have to really prune it back, get it in the ground, And I mean, I could put it down low in here. That's a thought. This is going to spread though, but it needs shade. And this tree down here is going to get the size of a good sized lilac tree, this Chinese fringe tree, but it's not growing soon enough for that. So I'm going to have to get another, it'll take up that space down there, but I need something in here that's going to throw some shade. And I'm thinking that Emperor One, the one that's out in front, down by the sidewalk in the mailbox, it should grow faster than what it did there, but I think I'll put it right in here, right in the center, let it grow up, and it's red, it stays red like sun, and it'll help throw some shade back here. Like this is going to need more shade. It shriveled from sun on that side. It was very tender, and the pine tree had shaded it, had blocked it. But, or I could, well, I have this is going to get big, that Twisted Sister over there. So I'm leaving that right there. It should get large, tall, and then it should canopy over, I hope. But that's lovely there. The other option I have is to bring, but it won't be large, but I think it needs a better spot than where it is, and that's Angel Falls. And I could put it right down in here. That might be a good idea. It's tall and thin, not super thin, but at the base it can get a cape to it, but otherwise it's just a foot or two, so it's pretty thin. And it weeps, so that might be good. I'd offered it to my daughter. She says, well, if I'm going to rent this, like, I have to talk with her about things, because for one thing, I was going to give it to her and plant it in her yard to block the house behind you can see right into the people there, and they leave their window open, their curtains open. I don't blame them, because it's dark in their place too. And hers is up higher, so you look right down into people in their house. And they don't mind, obviously, but she's bothered by it. And I said, well, just put some narrow trees there that grow fast. The dog, you see a dog over there. That's why they're barking. Come on, puppies. There's Silas right there, doing fine. But obviously, they all need fertilizer, and these have to come out. These were I had them all cut down to take out. This stuff right down here, I got to dig in and dig them out. But my situation happened in June, and I'm leaving this rose bush, even though it doesn't smell. That thistle didn't make it. I've got thistle weeds that have like it. This is doing well, but it's not growing fast. It's supposed to be yellow in time, so I don't know what's with that. That should get very tall and thin. That little thing down there with the stalk in it. This, I pinched back. I'm going to contain this and not have it much bigger. Doggies, you're not going to play with that dog over there. I can't let you off your leash. Leash laws here. Here's a rose that doesn't smell, but I'm leaving it for now. Well, I don't know. We'll see where I put the 4 new roses. Because this just gets huge, and they're old. That's why some of them are so old they don't even bloom anymore. Like this one doesn't bloom. So it's going. Why have that space? This I had forgotten was there. This dead one, this canna that has died. So I'm going to take it out. I didn't take it out last year. I didn't realize. But I'll put it out in the middle then. I'll put it in front here next spring for it to grow. This lavender got enormous here, but I like the leaves on this one. Maybe I'll put this in the front. It looks like I can contain this one better, but I like the nice thick rubbery looking leaves for in front of the house in that window. So I think I might do that, because it's too big for this space. And I'm actually thinking maybe of just expanding this. I liked having the little walkway, but I had no idea that was going to get so huge. This tree here has a lot of these mongrel shoots growing up too, or runt shoots, I guess they're called runts. Mongrel shoots, because it's way out of shape. This was supposed to be a fast grower, but this is the first time it had these wild shoots just go crazy. But I don't know if I want it here. And I don't want it over, well, I guess I could put this over there. That might be good, to move this over. And, because it's getting too much for here, unless I can keep it small. But I didn't think it was going to get so, well, at first, it's supposed to get like 30 feet tall, but not here, it isn't. I thought, well, it might be nice to get, if it weren't so low branched, to have a tree here with the stem and just have like a canopy top, like an umbrella out here. You come out here and put a chair and get some shade in the afternoon. But it's not shaped that way, and it's not growing as fast as it was supposed to grow. But it's a tree that came up, in fact, I'm getting my terms mixed up. I think if a tree comes up from another tree, but it's slightly different, that's called a mongrel. This was a mongrel start, or maybe it's called a runt. I don't know. Anyway, this came up from another tree, and it's its own cultivar now. It's Davidson's Illinois, is what they call Illinois Sunrise. And this is already turned, but this is a Zydeco Twist that I think my flaky has died down there. I don't know why. Maybe just too much. I'll check. It has some little green on the end, but it's not looking good. I'll leave it. I won't mess with it, but I have two anemones here that made it. The annuals didn't. But this, Angel Falls, right there, it's got to move. It's getting way too much moisture there. I pulled it up high. I had built it up high, but it's just not, and I can't, I don't see it there. Something else needs to go there. I like the idea of a conifer there. There's the fir that's there, so another fir would do better. This likes hot sun, which it's getting there, but not the moisture. That would be good there, but it's gonna be, I like that down there. It's a pond cypress. Green feathers. That's good there. This little guy got a stake back. That's going to get larger. Paper bark maple. So that'll be a nice shade tree for the area in this area here. This is going to be a nice Japanese maple, that little one there when it grows. So you have to I can put some flowers around, but maybe a little I have another little conifer I can stick back in there, a little ground, but and we'll see what Flaky does. That's sad. I loved Flaky. It's reminded me of myself. It was my conifer tree, Flaky. And definitely that weirdo sugar maple is my deciduous tree. It's so strange. Everything here, that's green carpet. That's getting huge. It's supposed to be more low to the ground, but it'll mound. All these things are doing very, very well. There's another one of these. I think the white ones in particular just seem to get huge back in there. It's not bad, but it's just, then you can't notice other things. I didn't realize it. The white ones, I think the white of anything. Now here's one that was red. See, it doesn't thrive like the white ones do. The colored ones are offshoots. I think the white is the easiest and probably the natural. And from the natural, they use the white to start other colors. And so the other colors aren't as vibrant or vital. This is gorgeous. This is an aurea, but even though it has full sun now, it's not showing the gold. Maybe it'll take a while because it had shade from their willow tree at first and a pine tree that was right there, and then my pine tree. But now that it has the sun that it needs to be golden, it's not. But maybe it's going to take time for it to revert back to what it's supposed to be. A golden spruce.
a Picea omarica. It's a Picea omarica. And I just love the shape of it, and it was half that size when I got it. And it was hefty. My grandson and a younger me got it in the ground. But look at that growth on it this last year up there. I love that there. It's not overgrowing its space. It's got a lovely base to it. Those might get longer, but you can always trim them back, but it has room, so I don't need to. That can go for a while. This lavender is also getting huge, but I'm going to put string around it, and I also have one of these thistles down in here. So this week, some poison's gonna go out on some of these thistles. You can dig them out, and I'll probably dig the top part, some of the top part, but I have to really spray down in those roots because they're tubular and they break off easily, and they're thread-like. They look tubular, but off the tubes are these little teeny threads of roots. And to get rid of those things I've been working on it for years. There's a spot up in here of them, obviously, and back there, back down behind those roses was that big clump that even had blooms on it. And the strawberries have gone a little crazy. That is actually it is a clematis, but it's not growing up. And it's not very pretty, but actually, I think I'm going to dig it out. Some things have to go. This also has this like white mold on it of some sort. Or this is starfish. Of course, the leaves are coming off of it now. It's ready to shed, but it should be a pretty dark red. So there's something fungal on some of my tree leaves, and I've got to spray. I'll research, maybe have to spray in the spring or maybe this fall also, and get it under control. I think there's even a little bit over there on this one. See that? Well, of course, it's hard to tell with them also dying from and the heat. It's hard to tell with the heat, but I think there's something fungal. I don't think they should be doing that. Especially the starfish. Others aren't as bad. Like the ginkgos don't have that going on. But, these calendulas, the yellow calendulas, I think I'll dig those out, and because you can't even see that little conifer, and find another spot for them. Maybe clean up around that little tree down there and put them down there. I have this one spot is the St. John's wort, and there's another clump down there. And it's a different variety of St. John's wort with smaller flowers, but it's just taken over this space. Amazing. So it really is thriving. I haven't had a St. John's wort do so well until here. I've tried it 3 different places now, and this is definitely the best for it. But then they had another one, but it was in the group that died. One that had a larger bloom and looked more of the type that I saw in Avila, Spain. But that can get practically they grow like bushes there, and they bloom. They bloom around St. John's birthday date that is given him, June 24th. So there's work this week. This thing is doing okay. I think I paid $10. It's very small and it was very wimpy. But if I keep those branches pulled in, I want it to stay narrow, but it does get dead in there, so I can reach in there and clean some of that out. I'll get some gloves on. The willow, I really pruned that back, and that did well pruned back. Hub's Red Dwarf, it's called. It's a willow leaf Japanese maple. So this is the fall. I already took the tomatoes out. Come on, puppies. Come on. Come on. Here's the narcissus. What are they called? Anyway, I've been eating on the blooms. Nasturtiums. The apple tree only had maybe here's some right here. I missed these apples. I'll take them in. I have enough to do no, lovey. There. We're gonna eat these. I'll make some applesauce and puree it extra much with the peels. I'll just use my grinder thing and make it liquefied. That's when I'm eating things. And I've got some spinach out here I'll get. Or no, these are beets, I think. I think these are beets that came up again. But I'll use those in my soup or else the chard. And I think I have a little spinach down in here too. It calls for some spinach. But the center clump is chard that's just coming up over and over again. And these beets, I think this is just a beet that I didn't happen to see in there. So I'll use those greens in the soup. It's a broccoli mushroom, roasted broccoli and mushroom soup. And my neighbor brought me more soup that she made. And I'm glad because I was too worn out at night after helping my daughter. This blueberry's doing okay. These others I had to prune way back. They're older, but they're not doing well in the planters. I'm not going to do planter blueberry bushes again. These, I think maybe I had 5 blueberries this year from that one. That was about it. Ooh, still a couple green tomatoes we'll get for it. They're sort of soft, but I think it'll be okay. That one's okay. This one's okay. I don't know, fried green tomatoes and then puree it? I don't think so. Those are soft. So those already got too frosty, but that one's okay. So, and I got rid of this never produced. It was supposed to be able to do without having a male or a female. Gooseberry. I remember having gooseberry pie at a place in a town near where I grew up. One of the viewers was from there, but he's not watching anymore, but it was the Dutch Windmill, it was called. And my dad took me there. I think he took us there once. And then one time I went with him on an afternoon when he was working and making account calls at this town. And we stopped and got a strawberry. I got a strawberry milkshake there. And it made me sick, so I've never had any strawberry milkshakes ever since. And I don't like strawberry ice cream either. But I'll put strawberries on top of regular ice cream. But I've pretty much gone off the dairy product stuff and wheat because of my gut and because see, there's a Japanese maple down in here that's getting this big thing. This thing has gone way out of bounds. So I'll have to get this way cut back and maybe in the spring even take some of the root ball out of it. It's gorgeous when it blooms. It's like white snow. In fact, I think it's called snow, something snow. And this has gotten huge, and then these little things have come up from seed. That's, I keep getting snapdragons that come up from seed. That's fun. And they don't take over, but I love the bloom on this. Maybe this is viburnum here. It comes in pink, and this purple blue is my favorite. But it has, that's a pink one back there. It doesn't have blooms on it, but it has like 3 or 4 different clumps of restarts. The pink ones particularly thrive. But this is a petunia. And look at those new buds. If we had a few more warmer days, they would bud open. Some of these would. These at the top would right there. What do I have on there? Let me get it for you. Right there it is. I've noticed that what I can see on my phone is always seems off to the right for you guys too far, so you don't see stuff. But these are still going. So, and this rose bush, oh my goodness, it's enormous. I'm going to dig out these hostas that are under it. They were just here before, but in the back. And I'm going to maybe try them over there on the edge where nothing is really doing that well and see if they grow fine. Needs more water over there, but I've got extenders for I didn't get that done either, and the man never came to show me how, so I'll figure it out. I'll look on YouTube or something, but I wanted him to show me he had a technique. You stick them up, put rebar, and I got these extenders. Here's my supplies right down here, these extenders to put on my sprinkler heads and get the heads up high.
so it can shoot out over, because now they're down low too much. And they're just shooting the base of a few plants and the rest isn't getting adequate water. So, made it through the summer. So, I got work to do. This is not a fir. This is a pine, and it's a bluish one. But it's a narrow upright. So it's doing fine. And I just get these out. Isn't this fun to get this out? Let's get it. It's just fun. Get that. My neighbor likes this here, so that's good. It's always nice to have something that your neighbors like, of trees, you know, because you don't want things to bother them or obstruct or something. I don't know, she didn't like that yellow one in the back, that chartreuse yellow, too much, but since it's doing better. But if it ever gets too unsightly, I'll remove it. My neighbor has this tree that was here before. It was supposed to be Picea omorica pendula bruns, and it was not that at all. It's some kind of a Picea omorica, but not a pendula bruns. And I don't know what it is. I think it's just an oddball, one of these atypical that came up from a seedling of this type of tree, the Picea omorica. But they loved it. I set it out and put $50 on it, and they bought it. Boom. And it's planted across the street, so that's nice. I can see it. But it was just a big, fat, bushy, beautiful needles. But I had sort of a theme here of more narrow, upright for some things, especially like the conifers. So the pendula bruns, if you've ever had one, you won't settle for something that is just an offshoot type that is incorrectly marked, which is what I had before. The pendula bruns is like a snake coming out from the ground and growing up, and this unusual sort of shimmery needles, dark green, greenish blue, and it's a Siberian spruce is what it is. But the pendula bruns is a weeping one that is very, very narrow. At most, maybe 8 to 12 inches apart. Wide is what it gets. It just snakes its way up. So, I haven't found one since that I had back in the Midwest that had to be sold, and my realtor bought it. Now, my realtor wasn't a friend, but certainly we got along, and he was of the same faith that I am, and his wife worked with him, and they were very lovely people. And they ended up buying lots of my trees, and they bought my stone garden bench that was gorgeous, out of granite or some kind of stone. It was just beautiful. Maybe it was some slate in it of some type. I couldn't take it across country with me. It was too heavy for me to deal with, and they loved it, and they basically paid what I paid for it, so that was nice to get money out of that. That was when I had to sell because of the neighbor situation. I didn't want to sell, but I had to. The police said, "Better get out of here. You're gonna end up dead, killed." Nice, but crazy. They were decent. How can I put this? Just bizarre people, evil, but not riffraff, not druggies, not the type that you might think of when you do killer type neighbors. They weren't hoodlums. They were just a very sick woman and her evil husband, and she was evil, demonic. Come on, puppies. So I'm gonna get busy here. Maybe try to do the caulking on that stone. We'll see what time it is. Do the caulking and get the ladder put away, and then tomorrow, at least I've walked around and see all that I can do, what all needs to get in the ground. This is a perennial. I'll get that in the ground and just start working on it. Here's this sparkler.
It's a healthy one right down here. That made it. It kept it watered, and I kept it sheltered. So I think that other one gets shelter over there. But I was thinking about actually putting it right out there. But that might be good for it because it doesn't get afternoon sun. Well, it's getting some now though, isn't it? Guess I'll figure it out. I'll pray my way through planting. God bless His real presence in us. Time to get the hose in. Since we're going to have rain in a couple of days, maybe I better leave the hose out for right now while I'm planting though. And Hannah, my toy, is doing well here. Right there. See, now this is just dying for winter. You know, the leaves are dying. That isn't the frosty look that I'm concerned about. That I'm concerned is some kind of a fungal that apple trees can get. So I have this spray for it. So that's what I'll do. I'll see if I should do it in fall or wait till spring at this point, because the leaves are going to come off. But you know, the whole tree has an issue going on when it gets like that, and it was like that earlier, like in August, so and September. So especially the starfish, the darker red ones particularly showed it. So, all right, heading in. What a mess here, but at least I got stuff up out of the yard. I cleaned that whole tile saw. What a muddy mess. That's cutting stone. You get a grit, and it wasn't an actual stone, this faux stone, but even bricks will do it. This or pavers that are put together, you know, by humankind, through different products molded together. They really, the grit that comes off of them when you cut it turns into like a cementy muck. Mortar, like a gray blackish mortar. Say goodbye, puppy dogs. They've been so good going with me to Aunt Susanna's house. I call her Aunt Susanna to them. And I figure it's better to have them in the truck with the windows down and treats every now and then, and in their crates here. And then we get out and we go to the bathroom, or I let them run in her little teeny yard a little bit. There's hardly room to run, but they can horse play there. That's when they do their horse playing, and I don't have them on a leash. They can do that all they want then, but not when they're yanking me around on concrete, especially. Well, happy first Saturday. Thank you, Mother Mary. She's over there. There's her statue there. Reminder.